Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 8th time that I have had the honor of speaking to you to start this awards reception for our Gotham Greats. It has been one of the great honors of my life to be chair of Citizens Union, New York's preeminent, oldest nonpartisan good government group, 125 years young. And the work of Citizens Union has never been more important than it is today, as we look at every level of government and the struggles we are seeing, the obstacles we are seeing, the crises we are seeing at the local level, the state level, and the national level. I'm not here to talk politics tonight, but we have the most consequential presidential election of our lifetimes. And I said the same thing 4 years ago, and I was wrong then, I'm right now. So everyone, please get out and vote. Make your voices heard. And I know there's a sentiment that in New York that doesn't really matter. It matters everywhere. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Now, there's a few people I need to recognize tonight. Our amazing executive director, Betsy Gottbaum. Betsy. Thank you. Our incredible, dedicated board, great New Yorkers all, including the committee that put this particular reception together, Judy Blitzer, Christina Davis, Tony Smith. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have some of our past Gotham Great honorees here joining us tonight. Let's give those who are joining us again the recognition they deserve. And we have some amazing honorees tonight, and you're going to hear more about them as the evening progresses. So I will be uncharacteristically brief. I feel particularly honored to be able to address you again at the end of the evening. Like bookends, you know, stereo. So I will have more to say later. But first, let's present our first award, and this award is going to be presented by our dear board member who served many distinguished years in city government and city hall, great career in private practice, and continues to serve our city as chair of the Campaign Finance Board, Rick Schaefer.
Good evening. It's a particular honor to introduce Brendan McGuire, our first honoree.
Yeah.
You know from the program that Brendan has had an extraordinarily distinguished career in private practice, in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, where he rose to become chief of the Official Corruptions Unit, and as chief counsel to the mayor of the city of New York. That last position of his resonates particularly with me since many, many years ago. I served in the same position at a similarly fraught time. And so I can appreciate, as well as anybody, I think, the skill and dedication and dignity and integrity that Brendan brought to that position. And so as the old newscaster, what was it, Bill Mays used to say, now let's go to the videotape.
Introducing Brendan McGuire, a Citizens Union Gotham Great.
The first time I saw Brendan McGuire, I thought, this guy is right out of the West Wing. This guy is right out of Central Casting.
I've known Brendan since he was a boy, prior to his even going to Regis High School in New York City. I was privileged to know Brendan during his years as a prosecutor, thereafter when he was a defense lawyer, and eventually when he went to counsel city government. Brendan's work leading the United States Attorney's Office Public Corruption Unit weeded out the corruption that always threatens our great city.
He spoke the truth. He spoke the truth to power.
He brought justice to, in his words, the people who crossed ethical and legal lines to the detriment of all of us.
His leadership, diligent work ethic, and team player ability enabled him to continue to be an important member of the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Brendan's work as head of the terrorism unit in the United States Attorney's Office kept all our city safe.
Brendan saved a lot of our lives. During the recent 2 years as chief lawyer for New York City, he served with distinction.
Every time I watched Brendan with his team, it was a lesson in leadership. He commanded their respect, but he respected them.
Brendan is deserving of civic recognition because of the ways in which he has deployed his considerable talents. He possesses the most valuable virtue in civic life. He has integrity.
To give him the highest compliment, I got to go back to the West Wing. Lead like Jed, advise like Leo, think like Josh, speak like CJ, argue like Toby, write like Sam. I can't think of many people who rise to the ideal of those television characters. I think Brendan is one of them.
And for that, Brendan deserves civic recognition. Congratulations, Brendan, on being a Citizens Union Gotham Great.
Brendan, would you like to come up?
Thanks very much.
You want to take a picture with this?
Sure.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Great, thanks a lot, thanks a lot. Thank you, Rick. It is wonderful to see so many friends here tonight, even though I know that most of you are really here for Carrie. To start, though, I would like to offer my congratulations tonight to both Carrie and Alicia, two people who certainly are worthy of celebration. Carrie was one of my favorite colleagues when we worked together at the U.S. Attorney's Office and remains a good friend today. And Alicia, we have many mutual friends in common, and I join everyone tonight in thanking you for your years of important government service and your continued commitment to the city since you left City Hall. There are many reasons why I deeply admire the work of Citizens Union, but none is more important than the short time limits they have placed on every speaker tonight. That important principle is one I promise to honor tonight. The city has produced a number of Gotham greats, but I certainly would not put myself into that category. For me, the title is reserved for people like my grandfather, James McGuire, who devoted his more than 40-year career to serve the city as a member of the NYPD. And for people like the Department of Buildings Commissioner, Jimmy Otto, who you saw in the video, who served the city tirelessly in various capacities across both sides of the aisle and over the course of his entire career, done so with dignity and distinction. As many of you in this room know, the privilege of working for the city is being part of a group of about 300,000 people who get up every morning and try to move the needle in the right direction ever so slightly for New Yorkers. And the vast majority of them are decent, they're hardworking, and they're committed, even today, in an environment where there is no shortage of cynicism and a lack of forgiveness toward government. So for me, it is many of those folks, many of my former colleagues, and some of them who are here tonight, who are the true Gotham greats. And now more than ever, they, as well as those at all levels of government, need our support and they need our appreciation. The value of city service in all forms, in my view, needs to be celebrated more than it is. It needs to be restored, and it needs to be restored, I think, especially for young people. I know everyone here in this room tonight agrees with that principle, but more needs to be done. I think more needs to be done to cultivate and to direct people of talent and experience into our government. And that's why, for me, the work of Citizens Union is so vital. By holding our government accountable, Citizens Union ensures that we do not lose sight of what our government can and should be. Their commitment to good government reinforces the resolve of those good people working in government. And that's why this award tonight is especially meaningful to me. Before I sit down, I'd like to just make a few thank yous, extend a few thank yous. The first is for Randy and for Betsy. Thank you for your role tonight. Thank you for your dedication to Citizens Union and for your commitment to the city over your illustrious careers. I also want to thank the inimitable Judge Preska for her words on the video, for being here tonight, and for being such a force for good on the Southern District Court and beyond for so long. Thank you, Judge. I'd also like to recognize two people on my personal Gotham Greats list, which are my parents, Bob and Joan McGuire. They are the ones who taught me how to love and how to serve the city. And for that, along with a few other things along the way. And for that, I'll always be grateful. And then finally, I, of course, want to thank my wife who makes all of this matter, Victoria. She has always supported my stubborn interest in public service, and then come to regret it, and then support it again. So thank you, Victoria, and thank you all. This is very special. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Ellen Baer. I'm an urban planner and urban development person, and I'm here to introduce Alicia Glenn this evening. It's my great honor to introduce Alicia. I had a whole bunch of remarks that I was going to make about all the wonderful things that Alicia has done, but I see it's all in the program, so you can go ahead and read it yourselves. But the truth is that Alicia has been on both sides of the public and private space for, can I say decades? Is it okay to say decades? For decades now, helping people on the public and private sides translate to one another in order to accomplish things. She's come up with a number of innovative programs. She did, I think, the first social responsibility bond. Is that what it's called? More or less. Okay, close enough. You get the idea. And she, as her time as deputy mayor, had some really incredible accomplishments, particularly in the housing area. She was at HPD. She is quite simply somebody who doesn't take no for an answer. And to those of us who occupy the public and private space, I would say she is the high priestess of getting stuff done. So here, the video.
Introducing Alicia Glenn, a Citizens Union Gotham Great.
My name's Lindsay Green. I'm the president and CEO at the Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation. I have known Alicia for almost 20 years at this point. She has become one of my most trusted advisors and mentors, but she's a particular flavor.
My name's Carl Westrod. I am a senior advisor at HRNA, and I've known Alicia Glenn now for probably 30 years. As a lifelong New Yorker, she's deeply committed to the city and has always seen government as an important way of improving the city and improving the lives of the people who live here.
Alicia is a really proud New Yorker. She'll tell most people she still lives in the zip code she was born in.
I knew immediately her commitment to the city, and it was obvious that she was extremely smart. She was extremely focused, a doer, not a talker.
She's always focused on uplifting other women, particularly young women of color. I think of myself as one of the women she tapped.
She speaks truth to power. She's not afraid to tell anybody what she thinks is right.
She says what's on her mind. She knows which rooms to say it in and how to say it, and I think that's one of the things I most picked up with her. She's taught me how to have a commitment to a civic purpose, but also when you need to have edge and when you need to lead with empathy. Alicia, boss lady, I want to congratulate you on being a Gotham Great. So honored to get to spend time with you, and really pleased you're being recognized for all the hard work you do for the people of New York City.
Thank you. Wow, those videos always sort of make you incredibly happy and sad at the same time, because you're like, wow, these people actually believe all the stuff I've been telling them all these years. It's sort of crazy. But also I do want to say, Carl Weisbrod, one of my great mentors, thank you for that. And if you don't know Lindsay, you should know Lindsay, because she's going to be one of the great leaders of the future of New York. And so I'm very, very happy that both of you took the time to do that. And thank you for doing this. And I will try to be, I may actually get under 3 minutes, Brendan. I'm going to see if I can really do this. Kudos to Citizens Union for, even, as I say, you're like about 2.5 times older than I am, and that's amazing, and I am just so honored to be in this amazing New York space and be honored by Citizens Union. But I want to obviously thank and acknowledge my other honorees. It's quite a crew, right? I mean, none of us share the same political roots, or maybe even the same political values. But the fact that we're here today, I think, is a testament ultimately to what Citizens Union is about and what we as New Yorkers are about. And I think that in and of itself deserves some recognition, right? Because Randy and I don't agree on anything, I'm guessing. But, we're here. So let's just take that. And I worked for Randy actually years ago, but that's a whole other story. But I also want to just acknowledge, it's a little bit of an Upper West Sider thing, but also I wanted to talk for a second and acknowledge the myriad contributions to the city and of Betsy, and as a mentor and a hero to women and to women in New York City. Thank you. It's a blessing and a curse to be born into the Upper West Side political machine, let me tell you. But one thing you know is that when Betsy calls, you just do what she tells you to do. And I have spent my life, a lot thinking about how women need to be more important and be long-term players in this thing that we call New York City and New York State. And for me, Betsy, you've been an incredible role model of what that means to have perseverance and a sense of humor and a real commitment to this. And thank you for that. So thank you. Just a second on civic life, because we're here, we're civic. I was super lucky enough to be born into a household and raised into a household with parents, a lot of divorces, but that's another topic also. But many of you may know various versions of my family, but all of them dedicated themselves in various ways to making this city and this state a better place. A place that embodies the promise of opportunity, and then also practices the principles of fairness around that. And I grew up believing very much, and I sound like Brendan in this sense, in the power of local government. And that local government actually makes a difference in people's lives. And that was a great privilege to be part of that. That was really what mattered. And I still believe that. I see that, and I saw that with my own eyes, both as a kid and as an adult, having the opportunity to work in 3 very different administrations. But I think tonight, and I think that Brendan alluded to this also, is we need this generation of New Yorkers to also believe in the positive power and integrity of government, to want to go inside. It's not so easy to go inside, and to want to go inside, and to be at fancy dinners and to brag that their children work for city government and not just work for some fancy hedge fund. We need people to continue to commit to the great experiment that is New York City. a place that we can only say has its greatness because of its diversity of its people, its culture, its commerce, all of which fuels opportunity. This is incredibly unique. This is a unique thing we have in our hands, and we may not be able to do it if we can't convince people that they should stay here, they should raise their families here, that this is a place of opportunity, this is where you get your business funded, this is where you get your art to be seen, this is where you get to be the crazy food-obsessed place where everybody wants to get a reservation at your restaurant. That's New York City. That doesn't just happen without people who are committed to making that happen every single day. And that starts with the sort of nuts and bolts of city government. And so I just think when I think about my own lifetime, horrific terrorist attacks, a global pandemic, turbulence in capital markets, a fiscal crisis, disruption around our legacy industries, at the end of the day, New York always comes back. We come back, we adapt, we innovate, we stay ahead of the curve. But that is about the people and the institutions like the Citizens Union and others that are absolutely necessary. And so we have to celebrate both the change makers and the caretakers. And we have to double down on what it means to be in city government and why this is so important. So thank you again for doing this, but also let's make sure that next year more people are in this room and all they say is, how do I get a job in city government? How do I be part of this incredibly precious thing that allows all of us to experience New York City and all of its greatness? That's perseverance, and it's definitely a sense of humor. So thank you for honoring me, and I'm just happy to be part of this great club. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stacy Cumberbatch, CU board member and chair of the Local Candidates Committee for CU. It's my honor on behalf of Citizens Union to recognize Carrie Cohen as a Gotham Great for her 30 years plus of government service and private sector efforts to fight corruption, promote ethics and integrity in government. So you can see her bio in the program. I just want to highlight some aspects of her stellar career, which she is presently partner at Morrison & Foerster. She's a former assistant U.S. attorney in the SDNY, focused on corruption, investment fraud, and securities. Chief of the Public Integrity Bureau of the New York State Attorney General's Office, as well as serving as an AAG in the Civil Rights Bureau. And that is where I met Carrie back in the late 90s. We were in the same office. She's also an adjunct professor at UPenn. But of all these numerous things that Carrie has done, the most important is she is the mom of 4 children who want to share a special message with you. So it says, Mom, we just want to say how incredibly proud we are of you. You've spent your career fighting corruption and standing up for what's right, and we've seen firsthand how much you've put into it. The work you did on cases like Sheldon Silver showed us that no one is above the law, but it wasn't just about getting conviction. It was about doing the right thing. We have seen you at the forefront and had a front seat to watch you tackle these massive challenges, and you have shown us what it means to be truly committed to doing the right thing, no matter how tough the fight. We see the difference you've made and just want to tell you how proud we are of your work that you've done. You've set an example for us and everyone around you. And even with the long nights, you were always there for us, helping with homework, making us laugh, cheering us on in hockey games, balancing everything so effortlessly. You've shown us what it means to work hard and still put family first, and that and so much more makes you a great role model. Congratulations on a well-deserved award. We love you so much and are so proud of you to be your kids. Love, Claudia, Ricky, Timmy, and Alex. Let's see the video.
Introducing Carrie Cohen, a Citizens Union Gotham Great.
I'm Alvin Bragg, a former colleague of Carrie Cohen at both the New York State Attorney General's office and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York.
I'm Mimi Roca, and I'm currently the District Attorney in Westchester County. I actually met Carrie through a mutual friend when she was in the New York AG's office, Carrie definitely leaves an impression. She did then, and she still does.
She's a joy to work with. She is a lot of fun, and I think that's important.
The description of her job titles and her personality were very different. She was working in reports on how to better women's working environments. And so I sort of expected to meet this very serious, maybe almost stern person, but instead very loving, warm, funny woman, which is part of what is so amazing and wonderful about her.
When I think about her, I think about her in the public integrity unit as my chief, holding public servants to task. Carrie was unwavering in following the facts, regardless of what we were investigating, who we were investigating. That approach was unwavering.
She has spent so much of her career working in public service, fighting public corruption, and really fighting for women's equality, not just in New York, but around the country and really around the world.
There is no doubt that the public sector would be a better place with more Carrie Cohens. Carrie, I invite you to come back to government. She is direct, insightful, someone who is not just great to work with in the professional sense, but also great as a friend and colleague.
Congratulations, Carrie, on being a Gotham Great, a title that many of us will never have.
Carrie, you've been a Gotham Great in my mind forever.
You are a leader, you are a pioneer, you are an amazing friend and a wonderful person, and I love you.
Wow, thank you, everyone. I am so really deeply touched, especially, of course, by my children's message. Perhaps they had a little help there from my husband, Rick, or AI, or both. But it was still lovely to hear. And thank you, Stacy, for that very generous introduction. It is really amazing to be honored here tonight with my fellow honorees, both of whom I admire immensely, including my former supervisor, Brendan McGuire. Brendan, I will always be in your debt. I'll be in your debt for 3 things. First, you motivated me to seek justice and do the right thing for the right reason. Second, you taught me how to be a Southern District of New York AUSA. And third, for joining the club of people who have tried but failed so miserably to actually supervise me. A wise woman once said, and even wrote a book, that it takes a village. And that continues to be so true for me. To my village, to all of my friends, colleagues, and members of the bench of the SDNY that are here tonight, thank you, thank you, thank you. My Southern District family, so many of you who supported this evening and came here tonight, I cannot put into words how grateful I am to be part of that family. And believe me, some people use the word family with respect to the SDNY in more of a soprano type way. But what is true is that the Southern District of New York show up. They show up through thick, through thin, through good, and through bad. And it was really one of the great privileges of my career to have served with so many of you in that distinguished office. To my New York Attorney General family, my first government family, from all of you, I learned the importance of government service and why being a public servant is among the highest callings, and thus demands the highest integrity, effort, and humility. Thank you to everyone I worked with at the New York AG's office, many of whom supported this evening and are here tonight, and also, as you heard, to Stacy, who I met many years ago and worked with in that office. To my Morrison and Forrester family, coming out of government service and coming home to rejoin the firm was one of my very, very wisest decisions. You all have taught me how to be a defense lawyer, how to become a problem solver for our clients, and our dear, dear friends, as well as just amazing colleagues. And to my family, my kids, my husband Rick, and my mom, you all are just the real reason I'm standing here. And Mom, I don't know that I could ever embarrass you because you are a force of nature. But since I have the floor, my mom is really the true Gotham Great.
Born and raised in Brooklyn, living in Manhattan now, in the building next to me. Mom, you came to every gymnastics meet in grade school and told me I was great even when I fell off the beam more times than I care to remember. You cheered me on at every lacrosse game in high school and then again in college. You came to every trial I ever did in the Southern District of New York, and you came to my very first trial as a defense lawyer in the Southern District of New York. Your complete and utter belief in me and what I could achieve and how I could make this world a better place and this city and this state and this district a better place is the only reason I am standing here tonight receiving this award. And so thank you to Gotham Greats, thank you to Betsy, thank you to Randy, thank you to the board. It is truly an honor to join your ranks.
Well, I get to reintroduce Randy. What can I say about Randy? You're going to see it on the video, and then I'll make a few comments after that. But let's go to the video.
Introducing Randy Mastro, recipient of the Robert F. Wagner Jr. Award.
I'd like to tell you what I really think about Randy. First of all, Randy is very, very funny. He has a great sense of humor, and because he's so smart, he picks up things really fast.
I think that one of the things that you can't not know about Randy if you spend 5 minutes with him is his infectious personality. Randy really has a love of life and a really special love of New York City.
His independence from tradition or affiliation, it makes him one of the most unique people in this city right now.
He is as good as you can imagine in terms of his advocacy, whether he is arguing in the Supreme Court or the Second Circuit or a state court in Staten Island. He gives the same attention, detail, work. It's quite impressive to see.
The thing is that Randy really understands government, and he understands what your government is supposed to do for you. He always does things to help people.
He can see the levity in situations when other people are upset by them.
So much of what Randy is as a person is checking in with his moral clock. And Randy is one of those people that I'm guessing is going to outlast me. I mean, I don't aspire to be litigating when I'm 90 years old. I think that as long as Randy's ticking, he'll be working, and I really respect that about him.
As my boss at Citizens Union, Randy has always been able to correct me. We work things out. We don't always agree, and we have become very close friends. Randy, congratulations on getting the well-deserved Bobby Wagner Award for being a wonderful person and a great government official.
I hope when you put it on your wall and you look at it, you'll think about all the people who you served and who were so pleased that you were bestowed this distinct honor.
Randy, I deeply respect you as a person. I admire you as a lawyer, and I'm glad to count you as a friend.
Let me just give you a little idea of what the Robert F. Wagner Award is that Randy's getting. Bobby Wagner, as those of us who knew him, and that shows that I've been around a long time. Bobby was a deputy mayor. I think he was chair of Citizens Union. And he was a wonderful, wonderful man. He was very dedicated to the city and very dedicated to his friends. And he did everything that you can imagine as a good government person. So I particularly find that important to segue into Randy. Randy has been an amazing boss. But we get on. We do get on. And if I get in trouble, I'll call Janine. Help. But Randy, it really has been fun to work with you. And I hope that you understand that I do find you very, very funny. Half the time when we've had these long conversations on the phone, I get off and I'm giggling like crazy. But anyway, I introduce Randy.
Let's give it up for the amazing Betsy Gottbaum. Okay. I'm not going to attempt to keep to the 3-minute rule. That's not going to happen tonight. Okay. One thing I've learned in many years as a lawyer and a public servant is the first thing you're always supposed to do when you win an award is to thank your beautiful spouse of 30 years who has put up with me and all my craziness in and out of government. Janine, thank you, thank you. And when Betsy asked me before this what I thought my greatest achievement was in my career, I said it was staying married to Janine for 30 years and having our beautiful daughter Ariana, who is in business school, couldn't be here, but please make sure you tell her I thanked her, okay? Seeing that video gives me chills. Chills of sitting in the chair for 8 hours in front of the city council being grilled, because some of those photos were of those hearings. All right. Why on an award that is only given out, I think the last time was, over 10 years ago, okay? And typically to someone who has served this organization, maybe is stepping down, whatever. How did that happen this time? Well, let's be honest. People thought I was about to step down because they thought I was going to go into city government. But that didn't quite work out. So you're going to have me to kick around for a while longer. Alicia, congratulations. She said we never agree on anything. Well, I agree on her premise that she hopes people will come here and say how much they want to work in city government. I did that. It didn't quite work out, so that's okay. But it is so important that people offer to serve. Teddy Roosevelt, one of my favorite presidents, was famous for his quote about, "You've got to be in the arena to get something done." And it's so important that we offer to serve and we make ourselves available. The fact that I won't be serving in that capacity doesn't mean there aren't myriad other ways to serve the public interest. As a lawyer, through pro bono work, through community service, through incredible boards like this one and organizations like this one. All of us, whether we are in government or out of government, it's our moral obligation to give back to the city we love, to try to make it a better place, to make it a place where honesty, integrity, ethics, accountability matter. And all of you being here tonight are helping us to further that mission. It was one of the great honors of my life to serve in city government as a deputy mayor. It would have been one of the great honors of my life to serve as corporation counsel, but there is quite a few miles to go before I sleep. And with this organization, and with all we can do to help our city, there are more great chapters to write. So I'm deeply honored to get this award. I call it my consolation prize. I could not be more grateful to Citizens Union, our board, for honoring me in this way. And I intend to honor it by seeing to it that the best is yet to come. Thank you all. And thank you. One last thing. It takes support for this great organization. All of you have dug deep and you're here for a reason, and that's super appreciated. But to hold government accountable, we need resources to do that. So please consider digging even deeper for for our organization at this critical time when we need to hold government accountable at every level. Thank you, thank you, thank you. By the way, I'm supposed to close the program too. So I just want to thank you all for being here. There will be desserts served. Now, party on and talk amongst yourselves. Thank you, thank you.